Take a moment and stay with this idea without rushing past it, because once it truly settles, it changes the way you see everything. If you continue to be the same person internally, emotionally, and energetically, you will continue to experience the same reality externally, even if the surface details change. You may change jobs, relationships, cities, habits, or goals, but the underlying pattern will repeat, because reality does not respond to effort or desire alone. It responds to identity. It responds to who you are being while you want, while you hope, while you wait, and while you observe your life unfolding. Most people believe they are stuck because something is missing outside of them. More money, more opportunities, better timing, the right person, more clarity, more confidence. But the truth is both simpler and more confronting. The real block is almost never external. It is internal, automatic, and silent. It is the old identity you wake up as every single day, the emotional baseline that activates before conscious thought, the nervous system pattern that quietly decides how safe, open, guarded, or tense you feel long before you make a single deliberate choice. As long as that identity remains active, your reality cannot truly change. Not because you are broken, not because you are unlucky, and not because the universe is ignoring you, but because the quantum field responds to coherence. It mirrors consistency, not intention. The field does not argue with you, it simply reflects what you sustain. The weight you carry is often not physical, but you feel it immediately when you wake up. It shows up as tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, low-level anxiety, or a subtle sense of bracing yourself for the day ahead. Over time, you normalize this state and begin to call it me, but it is not intuition and it is not personality. It is conditioning. That conditioning was built through experience. Through disappointment, rejection, failure, and moments where it felt safer to expect less than to hope fully. You did not choose it consciously. Your nervous system learned it as a survival strategy. And because it once protected you, it became familiar. Familiar slowly becomes comfortable, even when it limits your life. This identity lives in your body chemistry, in your posture, in your breath, in the way your attention scans the world. It lives in the micro decisions you make without realizing it, in what you say yes to, what you avoid, and what you assume will happen next. It is not just your past. It is an active frequency broadcasting continuously. Your reality is responding to that frequency right now. Not to what you say you want. Not to what you affirm occasionally. But to what you consistently embody. You can say you want abundance, but if your baseline state is urgency, fear, or control, the field hears scarcity. You can say you want love, but if your emotional home is defense, distrust, or loneliness, the field reflects those conditions back to you with exact precision, not judgment. This is the core principle behind quantum mind frequency. Reality is not separate from the observer. It responds to the state of being of the observer. You are not merely inside the quantum field. You are participating in it, shaping it, collapsing it through who you are being moment by moment. Every morning, you do not step into a blank new day. You step into the same internal identity as yesterday. The body remembers before the mind does. It remembers who you have been, not who you intend to become. And this is why so many people feel as though life is repeating itself, as if they are living the same year again and again with different scenery. It is not that reality keeps repeating. It is that identity keeps collapsing the same timeline. Neuroscience supports this completely. Most of what you call your personality is memorized behavior, automatic emotional reactions, and conditioned beliefs designed for survival. That survival identity was useful. It kept you safe when you needed protection. But now it may be quietly sabotaging your expansion, because survival identity avoids pain, not stagnation, and avoids risk, not emptiness. You cannot manifest a new life while remaining loyal to an old self. Manifestation does not work by adding more techniques, more effort, or more information. It works by releasing what no longer matches the future you are trying to enter. The future you desire already exists, not somewhere far ahead in time, but as a different frequency available now. You cannot access that frequency while insisting on carrying the emotional habits of your past. Trying to do so is like trying to tune into a clear signal while refusing to change the station. The quantum field does not respond to words. It responds to your nervous system and to what your body believes is normal. If stress feels normal, reality delivers stress. If struggle feels familiar, reality mirrors struggle. If lack feels safe, abundance feels threatening, even when you consciously want it. This is why so many people self-sabotage right before change. Not because they are weak, but because the body interprets identity shift as danger. The system reacts to protect what it knows. The real work, then, is not positive thinking. It is identity interruption. And identity interruption begins with observation. The moment you observe a reaction instead of becoming it, the loop weakens. The moment you notice fear, tension, or doubt and recognize it as an old frequency rather than who you are, you step out of the program and into the role of the observer. This is the observer effect lived in real time. When the observer changes, the outcome must change. Not always instantly in visible form, but immediately in direction. You begin responding instead of reacting. Pausing instead of spiraling. Choosing instead of defaulting. This is not passivity. This is coherence returning. Over time, these small internal shifts accumulate. Your nervous system recalibrates. What once felt unsafe begins to feel neutral. What once felt impossible begins to feel familiar. And as your internal state stabilizes, reality reorganizes itself around that new frequency. So ask yourself honestly, without forcing an answer. Who would you be if you no longer needed to protect yourself? Who would you be if you stopped anticipating disappointment and stopped preparing for loss? That version of you is not imaginary. It already exists in the field. You do not need to create it. You need to remember it and allow yourself to embody it, even briefly. Because the moment you do, a different timeline begins to stabilize. This is why manifestation is not chasing outcomes but aligning identity, not forcing change but allowing recalibration. And now there is a choice. You can finish this video and return to familiar patterns, or you can use this moment to interrupt the loop. If you feel discomfort, resistance, or pressure right now, that is identity reacting. If you feel clarity or calm underneath it, that is coherence returning. Both are signs that something is shifting. If this resonates, write this in the comments slowly and consciously. I release the version of me that no longer matches my future, not for engagement, but for alignment. And if this space feels like more than content, if it feels like a frequency you want to stay tuned into, subscribe to Quantum Mind Frequency. This channel is not about chasing reality. It is about becoming the frequency reality responds to. And the moment you stop being who you were, reality has no choice but to reorganize around who you are becoming. That is not motivation. That is physics.